Hello everyone, greetings for today. My name is Peter D'Souza, your host for today, and today I will be hosting a very important and a thrilling episode that's the rendezvous with our startups. And very importantly, what is exactly a startup and why are we talking about it? Because somewhere down the line, people need more empowerment. And we have got some of the examples right among us who will be showcasing these kinds of examples. What were their challenges and how did they overcome it? Without wasting much more time, I would like to invite Belmira Miranda, who's the co-founder of June's Cuisine. We have got Rachel Miranda, who is the co-founder of Design Nest 45. And we have got Sinelda Pashanha, who is the co-founder of Hoops and Threads. So a very warm welcome to all of you. I hope all of you are doing well at home and yes, very importantly, safe at home. So we are gathered here for a very important event. And that event is to do with all the kinds of, businesses that we have and all the kinds of startups that we have. But we have three panelists among us who are going to tell us their story and also tell us how they have been through and all the challenges that they have faced. So without wasting more time and directly going to our panelists. So first of all, welcome to all three of you. And the first question to Belmira is that, Belmira, how are you? First thing.
I'm doing well, Peter. Thank you very much for asking. I hope you're doing fine too.
Yes, I'm doing well, Belmira. So Belmira, I would like to ask you that, how did you start? How did you come up with this brand? And tell us something more about your story.
First and foremost, Peter, thank you so much for inviting us here. So, well, yes, speaking about my brand, it's called June's Cuisine, and it's named after the co-founder and head chef, my mom. And Cuisina in Portuguese, it means kitchen. Now, I've always wanted to have something of my own, and mom has her own unique style of cooking and a knack of creating new dishes. So there was always this hope to showcase this talent and at the same time promote East Indian cuisine.
Okay.
Now, as you know, March 2020, the initial lockdown was dark and gloomy. But I think each one of us tried to find that silver lining. We all had ample amount of time. And for me, I didn't have a 9 to 5 job to look forward to at that point of time, since I had just quit my job. Now, the focus that I had was on hobbies like gardening, quilting, and cooking. For me, it was a therapy of sorts, a brilliant phase to, probably just start afresh. I initially started posting photos of my food experiments on Facebook, and that created quite a stir among people. The instant queries, oh, are you delivering this food? And. So basically, our love for food and, a passion to cook delicious homemade food and give it to people who really wanted it was like a win-win situation. The seed of this dream, actually, to be honest, was sown quite a while ago. But because of the pandemic and I mean, because of the time that we got during the lockdown, I could see the fruits blossoming. And gradually in August, we got ourselves registered. We did have a limited menu to start with, and by God's grace and motivation and we began to roll. So yeah, that's the gist of it for now.
Wonderful. I think that's a wonderful start, for your business. Moving ahead, Rachel, can you tell me about your story? How did you start with your brand and, something more about it?
Sure. Thanks, Peter. So the name of my brand is Design Nest 45. And I started this business during this pandemic for a couple of reasons, actually. Looking at the job market outside and people losing their jobs and additional work pressure can be a really hard time. So I thought of starting Design Nest 45, where I do not have to depend on my job totally. But at the same time, I have something to look up to, even if I lose my job tomorrow. So something like a side hustle. And actually it did happen.
Okay.
I quit my job. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's how it started. And coming from a family of artists, my husband being an artist, so we thought let's take full advantage of it and start something in terms of customized, t-shirt, customized gifting options, where we found it was too expensive if you go to customize it outside. So giving in terms of price point as well as quality, that's how we started Design Nest 45. And in terms of the name, 45 is actually where I live. So that's where we started from. And hence I gave that name as Design Nest 45.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I think that's a good start and a good journey that you guys had. And coming to Sinelda, how did your brand start? How did you come up with this concept? So tell us something more about your brand.
Thank you for having me here, Peter. So my brand name is Hoops and Threads. It started last year in the month of July 2020. So I'm a teacher also. Okay. So last year, because of the pandemic, schools were suddenly asked to shut in the month of March. So I was home from March onwards. And so I'd also shifted to a new house, So I wanted to kind of set everything up and get this place looking beautiful and pretty. So randomly, I just decided I think I should start doing something for this house, like something small. So I started painting bottles and turning them into pots. And later one day, I suddenly saw this page on Instagram which had hoop designs, embroidery designs. And that kind of fascinated me. I was like, oh, wow, it looks pretty. So I think I should give it a try. And so I ordered this kit from Amazon. It was a ready-made kit and it already had a tracing. So I just had to stitch over it. So it was easy, but it turned out good and it looked pretty. And I placed it around in my house somewhere. And then later I said, I kind of liked that it was therapeutic. I just sit there and doing nothing in the day. And then, just focusing on that kind of made me happy, kind of made me like, okay, this pandemic is sad, but this is happy. So I ordered some materials online. I started tracing, I started sketching. And honestly, I was really bad at drawing. Okay. I didn't know I was so good until I started this. I was really bad at drawing. So I started looking at pictures and started tracing. And then I started tracing it on cloth and then started stitching. And it turned out really good. To my surprise, it was really good. And most of my friends and my husband and said, what, you should start selling them. So initially, I wasn't too keen on the idea of because I wasn't too sure whether it would do well. So then I said, why not just give it a try? I said, okay, let me just start. So in the month of July, I opened my page on Instagram. I started sending pictures to my friends. So then, the word started spreading out. And talking about the name, so I wanted a name that would kind of associate it to the brand, So when people hear Hoops and Threads, they know that it is something to do with embroidery, something to do with a hoop and, handmade thing. So that's how Hoops and Threads started and it's going on now.
Wonderful. So you mentioned a very important term, that is challenge, that, it comes up in every business. And apart from your normal challenges with business, you had, to balance school as well as, the business together. So how did you manage that?
So like I said, last year we were done early, right? In the month of March. So honestly, I had a lot of free time. Like I just had time and nothing much to do. So that's how it started. And then once school opened in the month of June, initially it was a little difficult because, we were new to this entire online system. We didn't know how things will work and we had to make videos. Normally in school, it was more of a physical connection with the children, right? Now it was more like online and then make videos, create content for the kids. But the only good part about the pandemic is, I didn't have to travel to school. So I saved a lot of time. Since I saved a lot of time, I had more time in hand to do something else. So it wasn't very difficult. It wasn't a challenge as such. It kind of went well because school used to be in the morning and then I had the entire day to myself. So it was like equally balanced. So, yeah.
Right. So again, I think you handle challenge really well. So which brings me again to ask, Rachel, how did you handle, your challenges?
It was challenging as 2020 started. I was also working at the same time. So it wasn't easy, but when work from home started, I did play an important role. It did play an important role as I saved a lot of time in traveling. So I utilized that time in building my startup. As you know, during the lockdown, sourcing material was a task. So focus on the other aspect of the business, like, creating social media posts, making a list of things that I would require after the lockdown opens up. So, and also working on various design mock-ups. So I have something to show to the customers in terms of, what kind of designs they need, the colors. So to get a fair idea. And also, as well as, I would not say a challenge, but it was a good part from my side. I had some extra time to think about it, what needs to be done further.
Wonderful. Which brings me again, Belmira, what kind of challenges did you have, since it's a different segment? What different kinds of challenges did you face?
Peter, so in terms of challenges, I think 2020, I would say, was a pleasant start to the business. There was excitement and a drive to try new East Indian food and, give it to the customers. So there were orders pouring in. For me, the challenges basically were with the delivery, relying
Okay.
on somebody who is hygienic and clean, getting the perfect delivery person. That was one major challenge. And the other challenge was, as you've seen, gradually the number of eateries have increased in comparison to what you had in 2020. And now I think literally every household probably has a kitchen, but which is good. It's really nice that, each one is wanting to build a brand and have that food. So that was my challenge, in order to keep up to the quality of the food, at the same time not compromise, because see, there was a pricing factor, so we had to tackle all of those issues in terms, if you ask me from the challenges point of view. But again, as I said, God's grace and motivation and family support, has been there. No matter what, you're going to go ahead and continue what you've started. So I think I extend that, what do you say, gratitude to all our well-wishers and our loyal customers. So there have been challenges, at the same time, we've been able to overcome that as well. So yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Which also brings me up to a question where, when it comes to this, the food segment, there are many other competitors in the market. So how
Yes.
difficult is it to face, these kind of competition, or is there any market research that you're doing before, preparing any dishes? So just more information about it.
Yes, Peter. So once again, that brings me to the fact that 2020 had limited number of East Indian, to be specific, East Indian number of eateries, right? So as we could see that there were more people wanting to spread, the knowledge about our cuisine, which is great again. But then we could not limit ourselves, just to East Indian. We had to branch out, as you know, see, like a Vindhyalo or a Sarpatel, for example, the Goans will do it separately, or the Mangaloreans will have the, unique way of creating a dish. So the funda now is you can't restrict yourself just to one cuisine. So we
Right.
looked at different ways. The research, the market research probably would be to dwell into more options of food, not just one cuisine. But yes, we do stay true to our East Indian food. Yeah, that is still crafted with love. At the same time, we are trying to, branch out into various other options as well.
So I would like to ask Rachel. So, you have got many customers, and during the pandemic also there were some challenges with customer handling, I believe. So how did you actually tackle those kind of challenges for giving good support to your customers?
So actually, social media plays a very important role in promoting your business in today's time, actually. So through Instagram, friends, word of mouth, you manage to get some good amount of customers, new customers and clients. We have also collaborated with this homegrown brand called La Perlita, which are
Okay.
into bags, wherein we print customized print on their bags. So like a message for Mother's Day. So it was pretty interesting. It was something new to us. I took up that challenge and it turned out pretty well. It was a
Okay.
really good response. I didn't expect that kind of response, frankly speaking. And also through my networking of friends circle, just 1 month after starting, I bagged a big corporate order, of a printed T-shirts for their promotion for Women's Day. So that really pumped me up, and that was like, wow, okay, this is something really nice. So yeah, family, friends do play a very important role in promoting your
Right.
business and getting new customers. Yeah, word of mouth is, I would say, the next level of promoting and advertising your business.
Wonderful, wonderful. So it brings me to the same question, sir, to Sinelda. Sinelda, how did you try and get more customers, and how did you start doing your marketing procedures? So can you give us some enlightenment over it?
Yes. So I started in the month of July, okay, 2020, and I didn't get any orders until August. So my first order came in August. So that 1 month was, really, it was demotivating kind of. I was like,
Okay.
should I continue it? Should I just stop? Because nothing was happening. There were no interactions. Like I had an Instagram page, I had good number of followers. People were
Okay.
liking the post, but there was no sell response. Like nothing in terms of sale. So that kind of put me a little low from, this, I just came down and, but then my husband was like, you know what, it doesn't happen overnight. Things
Right.
take time to actually flourish and grow. So I started telling my friends and my cousins, about it. And then they started spreading the word. They started telling their friends. So my first order was to this, it was through a friend who wanted to gift it to a lady who's a mayor of the cycling club. It's called Cycle Chala City Bachao. Okay, so there are these group of youngsters who come together and just go cycling. Okay. So that was the gift for her. So that kind of got a lot of attraction because that article also came up on Times of India. It was not promoting hoops and threads, but there was a picture of her holding my hoop and it came on Times of India. So that was kind of a boost. It increased my followers and I got 1 or 2 orders from there, not much, but yeah, so that was the point where I was again like popped up and all excited again. So then from there, then it started moving smoothly. So then now currently in a month I get like 3 orders. I keep it limited because it takes a lot of time since it's handmade and this. So I stick to like 3 to 4 orders a month. So it's going smoothly now. And now I've also moved into embroidery tote bags. So kind of expanding.
Okay, so Sunelda, when you talk about challenges and how you were motivated by your family, so yes, you might be having some pointers even for our viewers of how they can get motivated and how they can overcome their challenges. So if you could just enlighten us with some pointers.
Yes. So first is, out of my experiences, never give up. Okay. Initially, it's going to be difficult. Initially, you're not going to get a lot of sales. You're not going to get a lot of clients. But that doesn't mean, you are bad or your work is not good or, you're not going to progress. Give it some time. Be patient. Patience is really important when you start something new, especially when it is small and you don't have a lot of backup. Be patient and slowly try and do something better. Maybe, improvise, learn something new. Maybe once you've reached your target, that expand and talk to people, interact with people. Maybe if you're following a particular page on Instagram, which is similar to your business, which is similar to what you're doing, try and see, kind of don't copy them exactly, but maybe take a few aspects of what they are doing and implement it into your work. So that's very important. Also, take your failures as, not your failures, sorry, take, sometimes you are low, sometimes things don't work according to how you've planned. Take that as a challenge and try to overcome it and try to, say that, okay, next time I'm going to do it better. Wonderful. So that is one thing I really like, for young, especially when you're young and you want to start something new, continue doing it. Don't give up, because if you give up, then that's the end, right? Each business has their ups and downs. It's not possible to have a completely smooth business unless there's magic involved in it. So yeah, just keep going and always be motivated. Start your day with something new. Maybe if you've decided on doing something tomorrow, make sure you do it tomorrow. Don't keep it for some other time and just wait, because that's not going to get you anywhere.
Right. Wonderful. So Belmira, would you like to add something, some other kinds of motivational pointers for our viewers?
Yes, Peter. So I think if there is one thing that this pandemic has taught us is motivation, patience, and the value of time. This has been one of the best time where people have got a chance to find their true passion and look at their dreams. And if I have to give a piece of advice to anybody, it would be always look at the brighter side of things. I think as Sunelda rightly said, that things will not always work, the way we want it to. But it's okay. You can have plan A, you can have plan B, but make sure you have your goals in place. Once you know this is where you want to reach, okay, the road is going to be difficult. It's not going to be easy, but just make sure you have your goals clear in your head and keep working towards it. Have that motivation, have that determination. Test the waters, see how difficult it is, take help from your peers, take help from your friends. Maybe you can start it as a side hustle, see how it's working, and then take a leap of faith. Yeah, but just have that motivation and that drive and that attitude to keep going, because it's your dream. At the end of the day, you've got to make it large. So yeah.
So Rachel, would you like to add something for us?
Yes, definitely. Quite a few actually. So the first thing is work hard, but at the same time work smart. That's really important because that really helps. That really it helps. It helps me. It helped me. I'm sure it's going to help you all as well. Thirdly, prepare to fail. There's no harm failing. Everybody fails. Even I have failed. Only if you fail, you know how to succeed later. Fourthly, write down your goals, journal them because it does play an important role. Maybe not now, but few years down the line. And yes, as Sinalda said, patience is key. Don't give up on yourself. Be committed. Be encouraged. Be with people around who give positive vibes. Uh, in terms of anything like reading motivational videos, reading motivational books. Yeah, and at the same time, I would end it, learn a new skill. Don't waste your time. It's always good to learn a new skill because you never know, it might just come handy at any point, at any given point of time in your life. That's it.
So that was a very wonderful thought that was given to us by all of our three panelists. And I hope that we are going to take the very important key pointers. That is, yes, keep yourself highly motivated. Point number one, do not stop and keep learning new skills. So these are the 3 pointers that I will leave our viewers with. So thank you so much once again for watching us, and stay home, stay safe, and best of luck. So that was wonderful. And when we talk about all the kinds of motivational pointers and self-confidence and self-esteem, yes, we cover up everything. But I don't want to leave you hanging with those pointers, but want to give you something more. So with that, I would like to invite Davina, who's going to sing for us the fight song by Rachel Platten. All to you, Davina.
Like a small boat on the ocean, sending big waves into motion. Like how a single word can make a heart open. I might only have one match, but I can make an explosion. I know all those things I didn't say, the wrecking balls inside my brain. I will scream them loud tonight. Can you hear my voice this time? This is my fight song. Take back my life song. Prove them alright song. My power's turned on, starting right now. I'll be strong. I'll play my fight song, and I don't really care if nobody else believes, 'cause I've still got a lot of fire left in me. Losing friends and I'm chasing sleep. Everybody's worried about me. Too deep, sailing too deep. It's been 2 years and I miss my home. There's a fire burning in my bones. Still believe, yes, still believe. And all of those things I didn't say, the wrecking balls inside my brain. I will scream them loud tonight. Can you hear my voice this time? This is my fight song. Take back my life song. Prove them alright song. My power is turned on, starting right now. I'll be strong. I'll play my fight song, and I don't really care if nobody else believes, 'cause I've still got a lot of fire left in me. Yeah, a lot of fire left in me. Yeah. Like a small boat on the ocean, sending big waves into motion. Like how a single word can make a heart open. I might only have one match, but I can make an explosion.
So thank you, Davina, for that wonderful song. I think it has boosted us up on the next level. With that, I would also like to thank Zina for helping us in coordinating and also making sure that these episodes are a great success. Which also brings me to one point that we just don't want to leave you with this episode today, but bring to you another one, a more excited one, and also which talks about I, me, and myself. So stay tuned, stay blessed. Thank you so much.